Welcome to the channel. In this episode, I will embrace the challenge of Wizard's PvP world. So if you are interested in the results, then I encourage you to watch. In order to provide you with the most valuable content, it took me almost 2 months of playing as Wizard. During this time, I tested about 10 different configurations, and I'm not complaining here. Wizard is really a very fun to play and diverse class. Therefore, it is worth highlighting here that Wizard's great advantages are, above all, mobility, range, control skills, diversity, and let's not be afraid to admit that best defense mechanics among all other range classes. However, we have a limited number of skill slots. So this is the first and probably the biggest problem for me. This is why many mechanics have been disqualified for me to use, especially for low resonance. I think you should use the absolute most effective skills that do not conflict with the best features of your class. That's why for me skills like beams are unprofitable to use. They make you a very easy target. Of course, they interfere with mobility. In the next group, there are skills with a very long cooldown. In my opinion, Battlegrounds are too fast to waste time on them. Other substitutes provide similar effects with much less cooldowns. The last group will be quite confusing to the most people, because it is generally considered a very strong skills. And indeed they are, but they force you to fight at close range, and especially when fighting against much stronger opponents. I think that keeping your distance is much more reasonable. With all that being said, I would like to show you quickly my 3 different configurations which worked just fine, at least as long as game matched me with similar resonance players. The first configuration is mainly based on new essences, new slow time, disintegration, lightning nova. It works pretty good, especially with banquet and continual damage gems, using disintegration on the statue and lighting nova, which interrupts the opponent's skills. It makes much more difficult for the opponent to push the statue. However, the lack of solid defensive skills and crowd control makes it only useful against opponents with similar resonance. But if you are fighting against people similar to you, this is a very fun build, definitely worth checking. The next configuration is based on controlling a large area, and I have to admit that it does it really well. The synergy of meteorite and arcane wind freezes opponents. Then disintegrate makes job done by providing additional damage. So it's really effective to keep enemies away from the statue. However, it is not free from disadvantage, because once the opponents get through your skills, your only option is to run away, unless you're playing against opponents of your level. This way we reached the third configuration, the last one before the actual one. In this build I also use new disintegration. Additionally, ice armor that slows down enemies attacking you, and a very strong CC skill arcane wind with the essence of the main hand. I think this is a bit of an underrated essence. It provides us with 3 stacks of knock-up with stun, great for controlling one opponent. However, This skill has a small delay, so you are not always able to hit your target with it. If you succeed, probably your target won't survive. It is also worth mentioning that Arcane Wind has quite solid damage along with this essence. Forgive me for this long introduction, but many people ask me to express my opinion about Wizard, and I wanted to put it all in one video and provide you with different variations, since I always encourage people to test new things. With that being said, let's get to actual build. At the very beginning, I think it will be fair if I show you my PvP statistics, so you compare against what opponents I'm fighting, because this build is designed to fight against a much stronger. That's why the first very solid defensive skill is Ice Armor. I think this is very underrated wizard's skill, since most people focus on damage only. It is worth noting here that along with the essence of the chest piece, Ice Armor provides us huge improvement. Now all attackers are significantly slowed and chilled. This mechanic increases our survivability and also significantly improves synergies with the rest of the build. To further increase survivability, I also use Shoulder Essence that reduces continual damage, although this is an optional choice. In my opinion, the heart of the Frozen North Essence is simply necessary at this stage of PvP. I recommend using Ice Armor when there is a high chance of being attacked. If you use this properly, you have the opportunity to very easily not only chill, but also completely freeze your attacker. So let's move on to the next skill. Obviously, to use the chill effect, it will be Arcane Wind. With Thistle Bloom Essence, now Arcane Wind conjures Storm that grows over time, pulling and damaging enemies. With Offhand Essence, we get additional charge of this skill. But actually, the most important thing is the second offhand. Along with the older crystal, now Arcane Wind instantly freeze chilled enemies. So back to Ice Armor. As you can see now, it causes a complete loss of control for any attacker. And even if for some reason you miss the Arcane Wind, then you can always move to this place. It will cause any melee opponent to be frozen, and it certainly increases your survivability and gives you time to take action. It is worth noting here that the chill effect does not have to come from you. If other players' skills have ability to chill, then your Arcane Wind will freeze them as well. So these two skills guarantee us quite good defensive properties. And in this match against heavy whales, even though we cannot expect many frags, my wizard's survivability, at least for me, is acceptable. Keep in mind that on the opposite side, there are players with at least 6,000 higher resonance. So let's move on to the next skill. Of course, it's a meteor. Along with the leg essence, it is now icy. Frostwalkers are simply best pick among all other options. In my humble opinion, it quickly falls and has the lowest cooldown. Many people use it with armor essence, which increases its area, but I think this is a mistake. I achieved much better results with Hearth of Frozen North, and I really regret that a regular meteor has a longer cooldown, since an additional stun would be very welcome. Nevertheless, Icy Meteor additionally chills our opponents, so it's another mechanic which improves Arcane Wind Freeze. It is also worth mentioning the essence of the shoulders. If for some reason you don't need continual damage reduction, then extra damage to frozen enemies may be the choice for you, or just general additional meteor damage. I also tried to use the new disintegration here, but meteor suits me much better. With that being said, let's move to the next skill. I can't imagine a wizard without a teleport. So along with Mask of Illusion essence, we receive Great Escaper. And here it is worth saying that invisibility significantly helps to survive tough situations and confuses the enemy. So if the opponent is in a state of invulnerability or any other immunity, then just stay invisible and earn a few extra seconds. This is something I often forget, but I think it's good to develop this habit, especially after recent updates which buffed some classes. For my primary attack skill, I use Magic Missile, along with Volatile Arbiter Essence. It provides me with quite decent range damage. If you think that different essence fits better here, then the choice is yours. So considering all of this, I think that this is pretty balanced on solid build. Maybe damage is on the a little weaker side, but we're staying alive long enough to deal more than with any other configuration. Also, the multitude of control skills means that we have a huge impact on the whole battle. With all of that being said, let's move to the legendary gems. I think that Frozen Heart is extremely useful for this build, since its effect works with Arcane Wind. Also, Chip is not bad choice to burst some damage. All the rest are versatile gems that I use: BSJ, Viper, Bloody Reach, Seeping Bile, and Voice Spark. When it comes to the green set, I use Full Banquet, but I honestly think that the fourth pieces of the Baron would be better option. I would try to combine it with the pieces of Banquet, Vithus, or Mountebank. When it comes to statistics, I mainly focus on, in order, damage and HP, armor and resistance, armor penetration, and potency. Because I realize that I probably won't break my opponent's stats anyway, so I focus mainly on defense. Thus, we have reached the end of this episode. If you are interested, check out my other builds. Click a like button and subscribe to stay updated with new episodes. And as always, thanks for watching.